You know what's beautiful, Kobe?
What's that, Barry?
Is that one day, like your shit, my shit, the really hot girl that like does the stairmaster next to me at the gym, her shit, it's gonna all mix one day to a be- to a beautiful shit pile. I'm pretty sure that's not exactly how that is quoted, but
Close.
what's
It's close.
what's going on, guys? My name is Barry,
This is Colby.
and this is Who Watches This.
Theme music.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new month of the Who Watches This podcast, and it's my month. Woo! I know. When I told Colby what the theme of the month was, he was like, "Oh my god, are you surreal?" So it's surreal month.
I know you said that, and I was like, oh, I have like 18 movies we can add to this month.
I know. There's like it depends, right? There's so many like different versions of like surrealism, and I'm trying to pick ones that are like in the middle, where it's like it's it's like abstract enough that it's like surrealism, but
Right,
not so like surreal that it's like hard for me to talk about.
right. Well, we did like Paprika. That was definitely surreal.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I think it was a little bit easier just because we had like we could be like, oh yeah, like in Inception.
Right. Yep.
Like because Inception was like was in no Paprika inspired Inception, so it was like a nice little jump off point where we can kind of go
I,
into and then
right. Make the
compare.
comparisons and stuff. Yeah.
Um, but today is like I was like I don't think there's a comparison.
I have never seen anything quite like this.
But like it makes sense for the people who directed it, right?
Right.
So here before we get to talk, before we go ahead and spoil it, let's go to our Rhymefest trailer. all all by himself on a tiny islet. I think that's how you say it, or islet. The loneliness creeps in. Even I can feel it. We get an intro to Hank, who's about to end it, until a body washes up ashore to stop it. They laugh, they dance, they cry and sing, and finally Hank finds the joy Manny brings. Will he finally crack this nut sweet like pecan? Let's find out in 2016's Swiss Army Man. Yeah, I really had to stretch out that last rhyme. I had to turn to Jamaican a little bit.
That was right. Yeah. Mon, Islet. Yeah.
But yeah, today we're going to be talking about the 2016 Swiss Army Man starring Paul Dano, Daniel Radcliffe, Mary Elizabeth Winstead,
Yep.
and it is directed by the Daniels. I know Daniel Kwan. I forgot the other guy's name, but they're the same. Oh, so good.
Daniel Scheinert.
Okay. And they're the same directors from Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
And I didn't put that together, and then you said it, and I'm like, yes, I could see that.
I know, but when I say like the Daniels, it makes it seem like they're married. No, just their first names are just Daniels, and Hollywood has decided to just coin them the Daniels.
Right.
But yeah, we're gonna be talking about like one of the like very few movies that I find Paul Dano to like not be like a terrible person.
I was trying to figure out what I knew him from. I did see that he was the Riddler.
Yeah, he was also like the child molester in that one movie. With
Mm,
was it Colin Farrell?
yes.
Yeah. I don't know, like Paul. He's such a strange actor. Like it's because he has so much range. I mean, he was in Little Miss Sunshine, and he was in The Girl Next Door. Prisoners is the movie where I believe he was the child predator.
Okay.
Um, but also what else? He was in. He always plays like super whiny characters. Like he was the whiny character in There Will Be Blood with Daniel Day Lewis.
Right.
And oh gosh, yeah. I don't know. He's just like such. Yeah, you love to hate him, and he's a good actor though. Like he just the roles that he plays. It's like, oh, I hate you so much. And you know what I gotta say, like Daniel Radcliffe, like his filmography after Harry Potter,
It's amazing.
and it's like absolutely wild. He's in so many different genres, and he does them all well.
I feel like the Harry Potter thing was like, hey, let's get you famous and let's get you more money than you can ever spend. And now you could just do
Art.
you can pick and choose the things you really are passionate about because you don't ever have to work again forever.
Yeah, I mean, look at freaking was it Emma Watson? Like you barely
Yeah,
see her act. I think she does more like academic stuff and like feminist. I know she's like a pretty well-known feminist, and she like advocates for that. God, what's the other dude's name? Rupert.
yeah,
Yeah, you barely see. I mean, you see him, but he's like, and also like in a lot of just strange indie films, and it's like kind of. But like Daniel Radcliffe has been the one, like has been one of the only actors to ever really. I mean, he's never not gonna be known as Harry Potter,
I
but he's
right.
not. He's never gonna only be known as Harry Potter.
And he's definitely, at least for me, he has certainly proved himself to be more than Harry Potter because I feel like most of the stuff since Harry Potter, he is better than he was
Back then,
as Harry Potter. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, like and he's like, he's really shown himself to be a true thespian.
we could have totally done like a
Oh,
Harry Potter month. We could have
or
done a Harry Potter surreal month.
oh man, but yeah, like like an amazing actor, and I'm really glad for him. But like, let's get started in this movie. It's funny. I was like, I wanted to catch a whole bunch of different perspectives on
Mm-hmm.
this film, so I watched a couple of reviews, and like honestly, like the plot of this movie is pretty like bare, and it's much more like the underlying messages of this film that
Right.
differentiate it, right? Because like the movie starts off like you think you're like in a castaway situation because Paul Dano is is like in this tiny island or
Right.
islet,
Yeah.
and he's and like the first of all the first opening is like a bunch of like little floating things on the ocean, and it's like has a whole bunch of messages, help, I'm bored, and all that stuff, and you're like, oh, so someone is stranded somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Paul Dano or Hank in this situation or in this movie is like kind of humming something, and as it pans down to this island, he's about to hang himself. Until like as he like kind of like looks longingly over the ocean about to do what he's about to do, he sees a body wash up ashore, and it's played by Daniel Radcliffe, and later you get to know him as Manny.
Yeah.
And so at first he's like, "Oh my god, thank God, there's somebody here," and he starts to try to like, what is it, like try to resuscitate him, but he's like, "Oh, he's dead."
I, right. Right. Yeah.
You can absolutely tell by the color of his skin and the flatulence.
Well, that's kind of where it starts. Is like the color of his skin. He's obviously drowned, and he's a little blue, a little bluish white. But then like the human body. It's still
Methane
got
gases.
juices and stuff, the enzymes, it starts to break down from the insides, get gassy, and then so it he hears a sound
Yeah.
and he's like, oh my goodness, maybe he is still alive, and then farts.
Yeah. And he's like, so like, it sucks is because like when he tries to go first run to the body, he accidentally starts hanging himself, but it ends up like breaking. And so like when he's like, oh, this guy's really dead, so he takes off his pants and he's about to like hang himself. Oh, well, like as he tries to walk away, like the body starts to like convulse in farts, and he's like, oh my god, is that what happens when you die? Jesus. And so he goes back to the rope, kind of like configures it, and then starts to try to hang himself again. But then Manny's body starts to get washed or like dragged by the sea.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, it starts to kind of like jet ski around with the farts as like the engine. And Paul Dano's like, oh my god, this is my chance. I can ride this dead body like a jet ski on farts alone and get out of here. Which he ends up doing.
Right, yeah.
Until in the middle of the ocean, he runs out of farts. And kind of he falls off the the Manny jet ski, and all of a sudden he wakes up on like the shoreline of some other place.
Right, yeah. Now he's been washed up.
But he's so high. He gets washed up with like, what is it, like a bag of Cheetos?
Yeah.
And he's so happy. He's like yelling out for help, but nobody hears him.
Right, because now he's on a different island. Hopefully this one's populated. It's...
Hey, there's a bag of chips next to me. It has to be populated.
Right.
Someone probably thought I was homeless because he looks homeless right now. He has like a full-on beard. But then like he's like, oh, is this like another island? And then he looks at Manny's like body, and he's like, oh man. And at first he kind of like lays there for a bit because he's probably super tired. And he's like, all right, I gotta get out of here. I gotta go look for life. But he doesn't want to leave Manny. He feels bad. He's like, you got me here, so...
Right, yeah. You kind of saved me.
All right, let's... He's like, we have like a really like funny shot of just him dragging him through the beach. And like, they're in like a forest, so it's like, you're like... I was like, in my head, I was like trying to figure out, I was like, they must be the Pacific Northwest.
Oh, right.
Oh my god, it must be freezing there. But like, yeah, they get to the forest and they're kind of like looking around, and there's like a whole bunch of trash everywhere. And so he kind of like finds some like the trash kind of consoles him because he's like, that means that there's people here.
Right. At least people have been here. Yeah.
And so like they find a cave and it starts to rain. Paul Dano or Hank starts to he uses like some solo red cup he finds to collect water, and he's like talking to this like corpse of a body or this corpse, Manny, and he's like talking to it like it's an actual person.
Right. It's his,
or like it's really alive. Sorry.
It's his Wilson from the Tom Hanks movie.
Yeah, but it's like
you just kind of sad and alone, and you start talking to things.
I know, but it's like so much more heavier.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because he's like dragging this body in this like forest terrain. I was like, Paul Dano got some like lower body strength. That's all I could think about.
Right, yeah, because it's not just, there's no paths.
Yeah.
They're climbing through bushes.
And like, meanwhile, like Paul Dano starts to, he kind of has like a little bit of flashbacks of his like previous life before he got stranded. It's like it comes in bits and pieces, so it's really hard to kind of just like, it's just him on a bus, and then like when he gets there, he does like turn on. He has like a cell phone,
right?
That still works, and there's a picture of like what's it called, Mary Elizabeth Winstead. So you can see, you're safe to assume that like, oh, that's his like girl or something like that. Maybe she died. I don't know. But he's like, no signal. and so he kind of like turns it off periodically throughout the film.
Right, because there's no signal, and he's only at like 8% battery or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, got to turn it off. I
It's
don't
in
want
the
to.
red. And so like, so he like drinks some water, he goes to sleep. Yeah, it's funny because he like covers like Manny's body with some like material or like some fabric that he found. He's like, "Oh, you must be so cold." And but in the morning when he wakes up, there's like a raccoon that's all over Manny's body, and he's like, "Oh, please let me eat you." And I was like, I don't. Oh, I guess it doesn't have rabies, right?
Hopefully not.
Like a raccoon with rabies, it's much more feral, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But
It would
like,
be foaming at the mouth, attacking you.
yeah. But as he like tries to chase it, he accidentally knocks over his red Solo cup of water, and he's like, "Oh, so upset." And then all of a sudden, like when he looks at Manny, he's like, he starts to like leak water, and I don't, I don't know how thirsty I would have to be to use this guy like a water well and drink the water that comes out of him. But he's like, "Oh, sweet. Like this is so gross, but it works."
Right.
But then all of a sudden, Manny starts to say some words.
Yeah, yeah. It's like he starts off where you're like, oh, the gases are still like coming out of him,
Yeah.
and it just is he imagining that these are like words, and then it is. It's like it starts off very rudimentary.
Yeah, like it's like freaking Brendan Fraser and Encino Man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But Paul Dano's super hyped. He's like, "Oh my god, you're alive. You can talk and okay, cool." Like and then, like they kind of like the whole chunk of the rest of this movie is like them in the forest. Like it's kind of like I really want to talk about the movie more than rather like describe what happens in this movie. Just because like so like at first like they're like in the cave, they're kind of like playing along with each other. Like they're like he's like dressing him up, making him like do like little finger guns and stuff like that. Um, just trying to really figure him out and then like kind of give him a sense of like purpose, right? Like or a sense of like actually being alive.
Right.
But then he's also learning that like oh this body like Manny you could do so many things, you know.
Right. Yeah. Your body is a tool that I can use to survive.
Yeah. And so like yeah, so but then like one day like they see like the nudie magazine or like the swims was it Sports
So
Illustrated,
Sports Illustrated. Yeah.
the bikini edition, and Manny's like, "Oh my god, what's this?" He's like, "Oh, that's a beautiful girl that would never look at us." And he's like, "Oh." And all of a sudden like he his pants get tight. And Hank is a little uncomfortable with the situation, so he tries to like move Manny's body, but then he notices the pants get tight in different direction, and he's like, "Oh my god, I think your dick is telling us which way's home." And he like sets up this contraption of like Manny on his back or like front of him or something, and it's like the carrot in front of the horse little
Right.
shtick.
With holding the magazine
Yeah,
so that
it can keep
he'll
pointing.
stay he'll stay aroused enough to follow
Follow home.
the directional.
And so like, but then at a certain point it stops working,
Yeah.
and Hank is like, just like overexposure will cause you to have like desensitive or whatever desensitization. I think that's the word. And you need new stimulus. But all of but as he's talking about that, they do end up hearing or like stepping on like animal shit.
Yes.
And so like
Big animal shit.
yeah, big animal shit. Like it's like That's animal shit that's gonna turn you into shit. Which they end up saying later in the movie. And so they accidentally fall like into like a, I don't know, like an oasis or something like that. Like it's hard. It's wet.
Yeah.
Maybe a cave, an opening to another cave. But his phone accidentally pops out of his like his little what a carpenter shorts or cargo shorts. And Manny's like, "Oh, who's that?" And he gets hard again. And at this point, like Manny doesn't know who he is, and Paul Dano's like, "Oh, maybe, like I gotta keep him like with a purpose and erected, so I can get home." And so he's like, "Oh, Manny, maybe that's your girl."
Because they've been trying to do stuff like what he has the little bag of Cheetos and there's like Cheeto dust left, and he like rubs it on his finger and sticks
Yeah.
it in his
Oh,
mouth, and he's like, maybe this will spark a memory, because the more you remember, maybe the more helpful you'll be getting us out of here.
yeah. And so he's like, he starts to craft like this situation of like, yeah, maybe that's your girl. We gotta get back to your girl, Manny.
Right.
And Paul Dano's like, oh, maybe if you dress like her and recreate a situation, that maybe that'll spark something. And so like Paul Dano, like he like ends up crafting like this bus situation because he's like, yeah, like maybe you guys met on a bus, and then like you guys like fell in love, and then you got married, and then you had twins, and like he just got super hard off of that. And so like yeah, they start recreating this whole like fabricated story, and it's so strange. And then Paul Dano's like playing Sarah, who we don't know her name is Sarah yet, but he's like, yeah, well, and they start kind of recreating a lot of things. Like it's like the bus seat. They start like recreate, and then like at this point, like Paul Dano has fully turned this guy into a Swiss Army knife, because he's like killing. He's like putting like what is it, like torpedoes inside of him.
Right, or like little rocks, and he's like squeezing his stomach and shooting him like a gun.
Yeah. To
So
catch fish.
right, then they shoot the raccoon and they
Yeah.
eat it.
It's oh yeah, they blow up that squirrel's head. I was like, holy shit. And I'm like, oh god. Well, the grossest part is like he uses them as a shower.
Right.
Ugh, that's so gross. But yeah, and like they craft this entire life until like one night, Paul Dano's like, oh, I gotta go take a leak. Um, and there's like, yeah, there's a car.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think,
Because now it's nighttime, so you can see the lights of a car drive by.
yeah. But I think wait, prior to that, they did recreate like some sort of dinner scene. It's like a pretty like long montage, and then
Right.
there's
Because Manny's like, what's a date? And he's like,
yeah,
oh, we used to go to the movies. Now we just Netflix. And he's like, I don't know what those things are. And he's like, well, I like to go see Jurassic Park. And he's like, I don't know what Jurassic Park is. Like, who doesn't know what Jurassic Park is?
yeah, and then like I think before that, they end up like recreating like a maybe like a doorstep scene or
Yeah.
something, and Paul Dano's is sort of unloading a lot of personal like trauma, not trauma, but like maybe just like a lot of just personal feelings that he hasn't been able to share
Right.
because
Yeah.
prior in the movie, like when Manny was kind of having a hard time speaking, Paul Dano kind of freaks out on him, and he's like, what do you like a retard?" And he's like, "Jesus Christ, I'm turning into my dad," which is like
Right. And
everyone's
so,
fear.
yeah. And he kind of gives the impression that, or like, that his dad's a pretty hard ass.
Yeah,
That his mom passed away when he was younger.
yeah, and he kind of like he divulges that information to Manny, and there was a strange portion in there where like they almost kiss.
Right.
But like after like they don't kiss, they kind of settle for the night, and that's when he goes to go pee, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Holy shit!" All right, and then he like turns on his phone and he sees he gets service,
Right.
And so now he's kind of has to like tell like Manny like, hey Manny, every like he kind of goes through his Instagram and it's or her Instagram, Sarah's Instagram,
Right.
and it's like
Oh, right,
a
right.
bunch
Yeah.
of pictures of them together, right?
No, it's pictures of her with her husband.
Did you see the photos though? It's
Yeah.
in our eyes in that moment, or because we're looking through Paul Dano, it's Paul Dano in the photos.
Oh, it.
Yeah,
Okay.
which I don't know. Like, see, like the movie is pretty vague about like it's not really it doesn't explain a lot of things.
Right.
So
Because kind of in his flashbacks, it's
yeah,
him. But then I thought that in the like the
yeah.
Instagram things, it wasn't.
No, it was, but like later we can let's talk about. And so like he's like, okay, I have to tell him the truth. He's gonna get like super sad or yeah, super. Oh god, I forgot. Oh, I'm sorry. See, this movie is so hard to kind of keep track of because like okay, so like maybe it was during the time before they started doing the montage of trying to jog his memory, or maybe it was after. But they do find like a little situation where they have to cross a ravine over some pipes and they fall into it, and that's maybe this is after. This is it's hard, man,
Right. Where?
because
Yeah.
like they do kiss in that one, right? So
Yeah.
it's probably a little bit later,
But
but
it's not really a. So like, it's not really a kiss. He's just they're underwater, and he's like, "Oh, now I can use you as like my scuba tank. But if we go mouth to mouth, I can like breathe with you."
yeah, I was like, I don't know. It has to be after like they almost kiss at the window,
Yeah.
right? Oh yeah, because then no, yeah. So okay, so yeah, that they almost kiss at the window. They don't have the night where he sees the car. They cross the ravine. They do kiss there. Oh god, I'm getting so mixed up. But like the whole
Oh, right, because
situation.
he kind of passes out in underwater, and then when he wakes up, he's on Manny's back.
Oh, okay. So that yeah. So it is later. Okay. So yeah. So because that night, like that's the night where he's like, I had to tell Manny the truth, and but then all of a sudden a bear comes. See, and then, so they fight the bear, and he's like, Hank is about to use Manny like a freaking machine gun. But then when he like kind of puts him in that position, the phone has fallen down, and he sees like the photo of Paul Dano and Sarah in this photo, and he's like, "Wait, that's you! That's you in the photos." And that's kind of where they have like this huge argument, and
Right. Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then
Right. Because this whole time he's been giving him the impression that, oh, this was your phone,
yeah,
and you know
and that's
this
your
must be
girlfriend,
somebody you know that we're trying
yeah.
to find.
And so like they're able to skip the bear for a little bit, and they like he makes him fart onto the fire, which sends them up into the air, and they see like the landscape or the cityscape of a small town,
Right. Yep.
and they fall into the branches of a tree. But at this point, Manny's like super pissed, and he's like remembering a lot of like weird things, which kind of makes Paul Dano freak out, or Hank, and he starts to have a headache, and then he's like, "Please, Manny, stop trying to remember stuff." And then Paul Dano ends up falling from the tree, and is getting fucked up by a bear.
Yeah.
I think this is where he gets. This is where he drags him. I'm so mad. I watched this movie twice and I forgot already.
Yeah. Because the bear starts dragging him away,
Yeah, but
and
then
that's
man,
when
yeah, go ahead.
Manny like kind of becomes the most
Animated.
animated that he's been, and he falls from the tree and then basically kind of stands up.
Yeah, but then he like farts himself on fire,
Yeah.
which scares the bear away. And yeah, this is where like he puts Paul Dano on his back.
Yeah.
And then when Paul Dano ends up waking, because he's passed out from blood loss, like this bear like kind of mauled him
On his leg.
on
Yeah.
his leg, and when he wakes up, he's like, "Holy fucking shit, we're at her house." He's like, "Yeah, we're at her house, Hank. we're finally home. um, but he's like trying to stop her, trying to stop Manny from getting there, and they're kind of fighting on the yard. And then a little girl comes up, and she's like, "You look funny." But this is where he has like the realization, or this is where Manny ends up getting more dead.
Right.
And he's like, "Oh, sorry," and they start freaking her out,
Oh,
right?
right. Yeah,
Oh,
because the two of them are talking, yeah, and then Paul Dano's like he even says he's like, are these people gonna see you like I see you?
yeah. And then Manny's like, "I have superpowers, little girl," and throws up a little bit of water, and that's like really scares her. And he's like, "Oh my god, maybe I don't have powers." And he starts to kind of power down, and now there's just like a dead body on this girl's lawn. But that's when Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who is Sarah, comes out. It's like, "Chrissy, come here. This is fucking weird. There's fucking very dirty men on my. There's a dead body in a dirty hill."
Right, right,
And Paul Dana's like, "Oh no!" Like, and Chrissy, who's like her daughter's like, they got lost in the woods, and they finally came. It's just Mary Elizabeth was like, "Oh my god!" And like, here, let me call the authorities to come help you.
right. And I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like from her eyes, there's a dead body and a guy whose like leg has been mauled by a bear, who's all dirty and. So yeah, that is 100% believable story.
Yeah,
But Paul is like still enamored by her enough that he's like almost non-coherent. Like he just babbling a little bit, but not
yeah,
no no not forming sentences.
yeah. Like he's, and so like when they come, he tells everybody that the dead body is Hank,
Yeah,
and his name is Manny. And like, oh, it's like all bad, right? But like, you hear the authorities in the background kind of talk about it. He's like, "Oh yeah, he looks like one of those bridge jumpers and all that stuff." And like Hank had told them like, "Oh, he saved my life." And like he's like, the authorities are like, "Oh, it kind of checks out, like what happened. We'll get the body back, but if he doesn't have any family, they're just gonna bury him unnamed
right.
somewhere." Hank's dad actually comes, and he's like too distraught to see like the actual body. And so like when they start this interview, like from the newscast, like, oh sorry, and then meanwhile the cops get the phone, and like you see Sarah on the background. They're like, "Oh, that's strange," because Sarah's husband is right there, and it's like a totally different guy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, miss, I think he's been stalking you." All
Right.
right.
Because why would you be his wallpaper?
Yeah. And so like Hank kind of is like, everything is kind of rushing at him. And Hank, like his whole character, thus like as far as like the movie has been going, is a very reserved, timid person who's always been like the designated as the weird kid.
Right. Yeah.
And like this is probably the first time where he's like, "No, fuck it, I can't. No, he's not Hank. I'm Hank. That's my phone." And they're like, "What? This is your phone?" And he's like, "No, finally, I'm not gonna let you guys bury him in an unnamed plot." And he's like the only person that's been able to understand me, and I'm happy finally. And so he like rushes, he like goes for the body, he rushes it, and now a huge chase scene happens. And you see in this, like, not this woman's backyard, but the forest behind this woman's house is filled with like the contraptions that Hank has put up.
Right.
it,
Yeah.
it looks like a really awesome kid's like little backyard or like forest hideout.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just been Hank back there. And like there's this huge chase scene. They finally get, but I was like, they made this like space much more longer in the movie because Hank gets there pretty fast. And he's trying to like use Manny's body as like a jet ski to get away.
Yeah. Yep.
But they catch him, they arrest him, and Hank is kind of pleading. He's like, "Please, like, no, like, you guys are getting this all wrong. Like, he's amazing, his powers, and he finally understands me as a person, and I don't feel so fucking lonely in this world." And And like, man, his dad is like, please, you've already embarrassed me enough. What would your mother say? And it feels all like so like again like it feels like so batshit crazy. And man, like Hank starts to kind of get taken away by the police, but then Manny's body starts like farting. And,
Well,
oh, sorry.
um, Hank farts first.
Oh yeah, he. This is like yeah, because like it's been like a running theme in the movie, and he's like, it was me. And then yeah, the Manny body starts farting, and everyone's like, the camera guy's like, what the fuck? He like puts the like he starts filming. Everybody's like, what's going on? And then it farts away and smiles back at them.
Right. Yeah. Manny kind of like, or Hank kind of pushes the body out into the
Yeah.
water, and then it just takes off like a jet ski. And like you said, yeah, smiles back, and it's kind of like now he's going to where he belongs, out to the sea
And
where
Sarah,
he
yeah,
came from.
and Sarah like pretty much verbalizes what probably what you're saying in your head. She's like, "What the fuck is happening?" Because now they're all saying
Right. And then but the dad is like smiles and like kind of gives him like a little wink, like,
it.
yeah, son, yeah, I'm proud of you.
And the movie ends there. There's like no,
No.
there's nothing, right? All right. So before we get to talking about our thoughts on this film, let's go to our other section: high star, low star.
10 out of 10. Love it or hate it. It's one film from 2016 that will most definitely not be forgotten. The jury prize for Best Directing caused more than a few controversies at this year's Sundance Film Festival, with some audience members even walking out while others complaining about the film's uncouth behavior. What might get lost in the mix is how impressively this unique compromise debut feature can be seen through complexity opposed lenses. um, One way of responding to Swiss Army Man would be to contagiously laugh at the screwball antics of Hank, a man stranded on a desert island with a dead body. Another way would be to question Hank's reliability as a narrator and view this surreal spiritual space as existential journey into complex madness. Either way, Daniel Radcliffe's performance as a dead body is kind of profound. Kind of profound achievement you might expect from Harold Pinter or Samuel Beckett. Swiss Army Man is not just the most infamous film at the Sundance Film Festival in 2016. It's the perfect Hollywood calling card for first-time filmmakers, Dan, as well as being completely neo-sincere, being a completely neo-sincere movie. Movie lovers should agree.
And then I got a 1 out of 10. How somebody can create something so stupid like this movie and pretend to be genius. I don't think these two are the best actors in the world, but they're really good. So their part of this idiotic movie is something. There's something wrong with their mind. I know that a lot of smart people will be yelling at me now and will say that I don't understand anything, but of course it's a shame. Just go ahead and be happy, guys. Which, I mean, like that was kind of like the point of the film was like, okay, so like, how do you feel about Hank as a character in this movie?
Um, yeah, like he is like a nerdy kind of outcast. He's somebody who doesn't feel like he fits in with society. Um, yeah, like he's willing to unalive himself at the beginning just because there's nothing. He doesn't see anything in life worth living for. And
Yeah.
then like he talks about the girl, and it's a girl that he has this infatuation for that he met on a bus, and he's never going to have the nerve to even talk to her.
Yeah, and like what's rough about that, right, is like I think a lot of people, like, I mean, I'm pretty sure you knew a good amount of guys that you grew up with who grew up with like hard ass dads
Oh, right, yeah.
that were like from a totally different time that was like, we don't share our feelings.
Right,
You just
yeah. Blue
bury that
collar
shit down.
dads or military dads, yeah.
Yeah, you're just like, you just bury that shit down until the day you die, and that's it.
Yep.
And you stop being fucking weird, you know, like some normal shit, football, pussy, and alcohol. Which like it's really hard when like you do have kids that are just much more introverted. Like those type of like old school dads had no way or no idea how to handle an introverted kid.
Right. And that's like he's like, oh hey, yeah, if you're gonna be a pussy, then like you're just a mama's boy. Mom will take care of you. I'm gonna take care of your brother because he's gonna learn how to play football and baseball.
Yeah, or like if you, well, like there's been a good amount of kids that are unfortunately didn't have the sibling that would take on the dad's like more rougher, tougher guy side. That
Right.
just, and like I wouldn't say all like dads from that time were like that, because I'm pretty sure there was a good amount of dads that were like, oh well, I don't understand what you like, but if it makes you happy, I guess.
Right, but it was like the family dynamic usually balanced that
Yeah.
because you had the mom being like, hon, you're a little rough on
Yeah, exactly.
Award, you're a little rough on the beaver tonight. You got to
Yeah,
but if mom has passed away and you don't have that
buffer.
buffer, then
Yeah,
it can just be
yeah, it's gonna
a
be.
real hard time for a kid who doesn't want to be the athlete or the outgoing one
Yeah,
for under a
yeah, because you definitely.
heavy fisted parent.
Yeah, because you definitely have to like foster that or like a kind of nurture that kid in a different way.
Right. Yeah.
Which we knew, or we at least grew up with around people that were like very like, yeah, bury that shit until you get cancer, probably
Yeah.
prostate cancer. Oh man, and so like I feel like, yeah, and what's your take on like the Manny character?
I. It's interesting. Like I don't. I don't know how much of it is real and how much of it is all in the fantasy in his in
Yeah,
the other guy's head. It, but it's like I said, how true of a narrator he is telling this story.
yeah,
Like, is it just this guy who's like Tom Hanks with a Wilson basketball or volleyball, and just like it's got a handprint that kind of looks like a face, so I'm going to talk to it just so I don't go crazy? Or is it like, do some of these superpowers that this dead body have, is that like, is it actual, or is it's all stuff he's like imagined?
yeah, because it's easy to just be like, oh, he's just having a psychotic break, until you get to the very last scene where like
Right.
it seems like everybody is seeing what's happening. And like, if you got like, I like the name of the movie Swiss Army like man, because it's not like, I don't think the Swiss Army man is like what he's able to do with Paul Dano in the actual film, but it's like what he's able to become according to whoever is near him or that needs him.
Mm-hmm.
Because in that point in the movie, Paul Dano is super lonely, super isolated. He's been living in the woods behind this woman's house,
Right.
and he obviously doesn't love himself at all. Like, he's like, the world won't miss me. My dad won't even know that I'm gone because I've automated our birthday messages to each other. Like he didn't even have his dad automate the birthday message to him. He had to set that up himself.
Right. Yep.
So his dad doesn't even know that he's sending his own son birthday like emails. And you know, and it's fun. It's like it's not just like a whole like, oh, is this movie about male loneliness? No, it's just loneliness. Period.
Oh, right. And so I watched some like little interviews with the directors
The Daniels.
and the Daniels, and they make such a big deal about the fart. Like it's um, so they actually said that when they went to Daniel Radcliffe and was like, we really want you on this movie, but we're sure you're not gonna be interested because this is a movie about the when the first fart of the movie will make you laugh and the last fart of the movie will make you cry. That's basically, you know, this movie in a nutshell. And Daniel Radcliffe was like, you sold me. I can't even imagine what this movie's about, but from that line, I'm in.
You know, like, did they talk about like what the symbolism of the fart is?
Well, like you kind of have to, you have to kind of interpret it yourself.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, Manny just like he starts off where it's like farting, and then throughout the movie you have like
Hank.
Yeah, when Hank has to fart, he like doesn't do it in front of Manny. He like walks off into the bushes, and they even have that scene like when they think they're gonna die because the bear's gonna eat them, and he's like, "What you don't ever fart in front of me, but you fart like if you're hiding your farts from me, and I'm your best friend, what else are you hiding from me?"
And I love that scene though, where it's showing him farting when he's alone, because it's like it's so cinematic. The way that it's shot, it looks like movie trailer like stills.
Yes.
And it's just him farting. You can see like the movement in his pants as the fart goes. And it's like, oh my gosh. Because like, okay, it's like, it's funny, right? Like I know I've heard, or like, you know, I've spoken to people that like are in relationships, and they're always like, I don't fart in front of my person.
Right.
You know, whether it's like, you know, like it's like at the beginning of the relationship, which is pretty common. They don't like, people don't fart in front of each other. Me, I don't live like that. If I got a fart, it's just gonna happen, and you have to deal with it.
Exactly.
But yeah, like it's so weird that like they use the fart as like the symbolism of like I'm like your best friend, and you can't even fart in front of me. You know, like what's gonna happen when you're with like your significant other? Like, are you not gonna fart? Are you always gonna leave the room to fart?
Right. And then that's why it's such a big thing at the end when
Paul Dano farts.
When Paul Dano farts, and he's just like, "Yes, that was me." and then Manny farts, and then they're like, "Come on, you know, I understand once, but come on." And they're like, he's like, "No, that one wasn't me." And then it's like, oh,
it starts to spasm. Yeah. Yeah, and it's so funny, but because it's like that scene is so important to Paul Dano's character, where it's like it feels like he's almost like learning to, or like start to accept himself.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's like the whole point of the film, is just like a lot of people, man or woman, can relate to Paul Dano's character of being like introverted, or like being kind of traumatized from being the weird person that just didn't like what everybody else liked, you know?
Right.
And it's kind of rough when you're growing up in that space, especially as a teenager. Jesus Christ, like surviving being a teenager is
I I wouldn't want to do that again.
Like, yeah, I would love to go back to my 20s. Like, never a teenager.
Right, right.
Because you're like, yeah, especially, oh my God, you're in high school with a whole bunch of other psychopaths. Because you're still trying to figure yourself out as a person. Like, oh my God, trying to talk to, like, it's funny, like, when I go to, like, friends, like, little family events and all that stuff, and I see, like, their, like, nieces and, like, nephews that, like, I knew when they were, like, little kids. And when you get to know them as teenagers, they're just so, like, ugh. It's like, all right, I'll talk to you when you're like in your 20s, Jesus.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, when you grow up like Paul Dano's character who can't even say a word to somebody, it's so isolating.
Right. Yeah.
And then like you always think like there's always something wrong with you when everyone's kind of told you, you're like, yeah, you're fucking weird. You probably build pipe bombs in your basement, fucking weirdo.
Right. Right. And then your dad's hard on you. Your mom is now like is passed. You feel you just start feeling more and more like an outcast. You're known as the weird kid at school, and so you're getting bullied. You're getting,
It's long
and
for you.
and the more you get bullied, the less you're like, oh, I have less and less confidence to talk to a girl.
Yeah, or like just the opposite sex period.
Right.
Because I don't want people to be like, oh, a movie talking about male loneliness, which I mean is true. We're filming this during man mental health month.
Right, but yeah, he can't talk to his dad. He doesn't have any friends.
Yeah.
He can't talk to girls. So it's just in
it's
general he has nothing, and he ends up becoming best friends with a
corpse.
dead body because it's the one thing that's not judging him.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like, yeah, this movie is kind of amazing. You do have to peel the layers off of it, and I think a lot of people's interpretation of this movie is going to be wildly different, but like at least, but within the realm of like the same sort of themes. Like you're understanding the themes, and then you're going to apply it to how you've grown up and lived your life, right?
Right.
But I feel like a lot of the one stars is like, nah, they're like super popular. Or I don't know, maybe they've never felt lonely, and maybe this movie is going to be super boring to them, and it's like Daniel Radcliffe just throwing up on Paul Dano.
And it's there's like that mix. If you go into this thinking this movie is going to be really deep, there is enough crude humor that you may be thrown off.
Yeah.
But if you come in like off of like seeing a preview where it's like farting and riding Daniel Radcliffe like a jet ski, you may not be ready for how deep and how much heart there is in this movie.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, I was coming for a comedy, and this is not what I want.
I was expecting.
So I mean, it's a strange, like, I think you almost have to come in like with no
expectations,
preconceived notions. Yeah.
The only thing that you need to come in with is Paul Dano's hanging out with a dead dude, and you're like, oh, maybe this will be like Weekend at Bernie's.
Right. There's probably people who came in totally expecting this is
Weekend at Bernie's.
Weekend at Bernie's for the 2020s. Yeah.
Oh man, but we're coming up to our hour, so I want to go ahead and thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to check all of our other months down below, where we have actor themed months, holiday themed months, off the wall topics. There's gonna be something there for you. We do our reviews in 4 different sections, where we have Stream It, DVD, Blu-ray It, and the Ultimate Box Collection. Kobe, where you at for this one?
I'm not really sure what we'd get Ultimate Box, but this is definitely Blu-ray. I had seen it maybe a year ago.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I got a different movie out of it watching it again.
Yeah.
Even though I certainly realized how deep it was back then. I got more out of it, and I feel like if I watch it a third time, even more will
pop up.
will pop up. Yeah, this is great, and I really like. I hate to say it, but I was sick and tired of Harry Potter by like the seventh, eighth movie. By the end, I was like, okay, I'm done with these people. And Daniel Radcliffe has blown me away since. A person who could play a dead body. They built a Daniel Radcliffe doll because they're like, this guy is a billionaire. He's not going to want to lay in the mud and have
fart box on him or something like that.
Right. And they were like, they didn't ever use it. The entire movie, Daniel Radcliffe's like, no, you could show my ass. I'll fart on camera. I don't care. Let's do it.
Yeah. He must have taken that thing home though. I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take this, right? I'm fucking Harry Potter. No one's gonna say no to this. I'm gonna be in the same realm as far as like you. If there's whatever Ultimate Box collection this would come in, I'd probably buy it. Standalone, it's an easy Blu-ray. It's a great movie. It's so like off the wall, but like a lot of people like lately have been using horror to tell or to send a message or to tell like a different kind of story with underlying themes, and this is just kind of like the same thing. It's using like it's a dark comedy.
Yeah.
A little slapsticky. It has a lot of like vulgarity in it with like the farts and like the throwing up and using a dead body like a freaking what are those old toys where it would do the karate chops? Yeah, like a super old school like 80s toy that could karate chop and do flips. But if you can get past that, or like maybe if you come into this like a little bit, I think this would be great for possibly teenagers that are kind of going through the same like loneliness, and even as an adult you can watch it. It never gets easier.
Right.
And you could probably find comfort in this, and then that maybe that'll help you kind of discover a portion of yourself that you can start to love and nurture, and then hopefully grow into a better person.
Yeah.
But
I guess the Ultimate Box would probably be like the Dan's collection.
Oh yeah, the Daniels, yeah. But no, we're coming. So that's gonna be the end of our episode. Want to go ahead and thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to check all of our links down below where we have all our social medias.
Yeah, we got our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, YouTube. We're on everything. Yeah, follow
definitely.
us, love us, send us a message.
All right, thank you guys for joining us. My name is Barry.
This is Colby.
And this is Who Watches This. If you guys want to check out it as a theme music, it is Lee Rosevere. It's called Arcade Montage. It's on our album Music Podcast 3, and the Bandcamp is down below.
Thank you.